Issue 2. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not Paul Henry. The farce is over. The Oompa Loompa of hate has been golden showered out of the premises. But what has this left TVNZ looking like? And what does public broadcasting even mean now? Tim, TVNZ decided to dump Paul Henry after the threat of advertisers leaving. So this wasn't a principled decision. It was a financial one. Is that good enough from the public broadcaster?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just like the Paul Holmes issue, and I think it was Mitsubishi who was hosting the sponsoring the show.
That's right.
Threatening to pull out. And you go back to the Vici,
Tony
Veach scenario in which he said what he said, but TVNZ kept him on an extra day. It's like they've got this tin ear. They don't know what's happened. It's like an ankle tap for them.
For every advertiser that pulls out, there'd be another one that will jump in. That's the thing. I think this whole Paul Henry thing...
They get sensitive. They get very sensitive about this, though.
This whole thing, this is not journalism we're talking about. This is bubblegum TV. It is breakfast television. It's light entertainment for good.
It's a state broadcaster. That's the crucial issue.
So if it was on TV3, would you have mounted the same campaign?
Probably not, no, because it's not the state
broadcaster. Paul Henry.
It doesn't purport to be the voice of the nation.
It's not the hold on.
I know it was terrible quality.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, but that argument I don't think holds water. When you look at John Key, he has dumped quietly the BFM interviews, he's dumped the RDU ones and the Kiwi FM ones. The only chance that he can actually be interviewed now is on Paul Henry's weekly show, so that does matter. Saying it's breakfast TV isn't a way to get out of it.
Have you seen the latest TUI billboard? It says, "I watch breakfast for Tamati only." Yeah, right.
Oh, how racist of that. Cam, Paul Henry supporters are crazy, redneck, cross-burners who will read your blog. Their nonsense argument is, Hone said worse things.
He did.
Why are Paul Henry supporters so unevolved when it comes to critical thinking? And how do you target public broadcasting at them?
Well, this is a case in point for TVNZ. Maybe we should look at actually flogging it off and then using the money from that to establish a boring type Media 7 Russell Brown love fest where no one watches. That's public broadcasting.
Yeah, it's called TVNZ 7, mate. They've already
got one of those.
Right,
yeah.
so that's public broadcasting. It offends no one. It achieves nothing, but
there's a difference. But there's a difference between who you offend. If you are offending the powerful and you're offending the people who control society, that's fine. Offending minorities is not fine. That's the difference.
You offend people just by speaking.
It's who you offend. It's who you offend.
So it's okay to offend right-wing people.
It's okay to offend the powerful.
It's okay to offend Whitey.
That's okay to offend the powerful.
You can call them motherfuckers, and there's no problem like that.
It's okay to offend the powerful. That's what I'm saying. Offending the minority.
I'm saying it's okay to offend.
Well, and there's the problem.
But it's crucial. It's about state broadcasting, though, as well.
No,
it is.
That's not the line the left wing has been running. It's a get Paul Henry because he's mates with John Key.
No, that's a bonus. That's a bonus. That's not the main issue.
Extra,
Tim, who else needs to be sacked at TVNZ? Do we have time?
Well, exactly. Let's go through. Let's get the phone book out, shall we?
Simply because the guy's a dork.
Your good friend. Who else do we sack? Because they really screwed this up, didn't they?
There's a few good broadcasters there too who are still hanging in there, but my concern is that
Russell Brown,
because of the system.
Russell Brown.
Well, there's a lot of people who should be displaced. There's a lot of people. You talk about the glass ceiling and stuff. There's another sort of golden ceiling in which younger broadcasters and outside broadcasters can't come through because they're all dominating the system.
That's right. It's controlled by middle-aged pinkos who think that they're still teenagers.
Cam, your good friends at National want to sell TVNZ off. Will they?
Well, no, they won't because they're gutless. I think they should.
Yes.
And in fact, devolve it down to TVNZ7 as the public broadcaster.
Well, that's how it could go.
Well, that's a good idea.
The other one, I reckon, maybe buy TV3 because Ironbridge wants to sell out as quick as they can. And TV3 is a better public broadcaster in many ways and has much more of a finger on the pulse than TVNZ ever does.
According to Dim Post, apparently the way that news travels goes from the 9th floor of the Beehive to me to TV3 to the public.
Yes. What is the purpose of public broadcasting? The question to both of you. If it is merely chasing dollars and not actually fulfilling its role to democracy by holding the powerful to account, what's its role?
Well, when I lived in Australia for a couple of years, I actually enjoyed SBS.
Yes.
They had some really great shows, things that perhaps wouldn't have had seen the light of day other than SBS. But the funniest show of all was a sitcom based in a council flat in Singapore. That was with Singaporean actors. You have to see it to believe it, but it is actually hilarious. And it makes a mockery of the fuss over Paul Henry.
What is the purpose of public broadcasting if it's just chasing money?
Yeah, exactly. What is the point? And they're going to get rid of the charter, of course,
yes,
if they haven't already. And arguably, the charter was
Pointless.
never really put in place
anyway.
Labour need to say, if they're pro public broadcasting, we won't demand you return us a dividend every year, and you put that into actual broadcasting.
But they don't find a way to do that. They never find a proper way to do that because they waste all that money on crap.
Labour raped and pillaged the dividend from TVNZ.
That's right.
And they stood there with a Neville Chamberlain piece of paper saying, "We've got the charter."
Yeah, that's
and
right.
It
was. Yeah. Unless you allow them to put the dividend into actual programs.
Arguably, the Platinum Fund too, I would say, and the further devolvement also hasn't really come through with what the quality broadcasting that we would have liked.
I'm a big supporter of public broadcasting. We need more public broadcasting, but the investment, I think, is just.
But what we don't need is more Russell Brown and Damien Christie type shows.
I think we can all agree with that. Tim, who wins and who loses with Paul Henry's resignation?
I think, well, it's a run on the board for India, as it were, because they kicked up a fuss about the government there, so they've got results.
Well, they
and it's good for TVNZ because they didn't have to face sacking him and then paying out. I mean, how much did John Hawkesby get?
Well,
millions upon millions.
They paid him 6 months' salary, though.
Nice little
Well, what else are they going to do, mate?
Cam, who wins, who loses with Paul Henry's resignation?
Well, I think New Zealand loses because we're so humorless. The Indians, this was retribution for making comments and embarrassing them about the standard of the Games Village. Nothing more,
that's got part of it. I'm sure that's got part of it.
Yeah,
but he was offensive.
But a diplomatic incident, I think not. I think our ambassador should have told them to go fly a kite. And we don't complain about what breakfast presenters on Indian television
I think they were actually a bit precious about it myself, but they knew they could extract some sort of an apology, and they did.
They got their turbans in a twist.
Thank you, panel. Coming up, who will rid me of this troublesome queen? There is no fury like a scorned Chris Carter. Citizen A is back after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Citizen A. We're reviewing the week with bloggers Tim Selwyn and Cameron Slater. Issue 3 this week after getting spanked for not showing enough contrition to the media and for a pathetic coup that he first lied about and then conceded to having done. The once trailblazing Chris Carter has become a sad, old, bitter shadow of himself and has pledged war with a tell-all book for being thrown out of the Labour Party. Breaking up is never easy to do, but Chris makes a messy divorce between meth addicts look preferable. Tim, Chris has every justification of being angry with the way he was portrayed in the media as a luxury gay boy. His travel has been signed off by Labour. He was only the 4th highest travel spending minister.
What was his portfolio?
But his sense of entitlement...
Education.
But his sense, overseas tertiary education.
Oh, wow. Let's spend half of the time overseas.
But his sense of entitlement has eroded any real support, and his desire to now maximise damage to Labour while National look to privatise the entire country post-2011 is inexcusable, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right about the last bit anyway.
He's the most
it's totally inexcusable,
entitled
no matter about what you think about the previous thing. Yeah, that's right. But the interesting thing is that, he's going to write something. I thought, it's going to be a travel book. This is going to be marvellous.
Yeah, my life in the Corrie Club lounges.
Exactly. I mean, but what's he going to write about? About wine lists and first class versus business class, travel,
limousine versus taxi.
Exactly.
Cam, it's
motorcycle
pathetic.
Outriders.
It's pathetic that Chris won't name the 17 MPs supposedly questioning Phil Goff's leadership. Chris knows where the bodies are buried.
Absolutely.
Is he leaking, muckraking mud to you yet?
Not yet.
You claimed former Labour Party ministers had contacted you over Phil's leadership. Was Chris one of them?
No, Chris wasn't one of them.
Yep.
But Chris should just give me a call. Numbers on the blog. I think that
he's crazy enough to actually.
If you're going to do a good political hit, then I'm a firm believer in death by 1,000 cuts. No one wants to wait for a book to come out. It's completely and utterly pointless. I mean, who reads books these days anyway?
And Heather and Helen in New York are going to be the ghost sub-editors.
Absolutely.
Of that
So
anyway.
he should just start.
Really?
Of course they are.
Death by
She's going to get. She's going to be emailed it before even Brian Edwards is going to get it.
This is revenge.
Whoa! Pause.
Phil
Why would Helen Clark want to destroy the Labour Party?
She doesn't.
No,
But
she wants to edit the book to make sure it makes you look
She
good.
deeply hates Phil Goff.
How can you claim that?
The only
Based
person
on
that
what?
she hates
She doesn't
more,
care about Phil Goff.
The only person she hates more than Phil Goff is John Key.
The Labour Party conference, is a question to both of you, is being held this weekend, which I shall be blogging from.
They haven't pulled your accreditation then?
No, they haven't, not yet. I'm sure maybe after this show they will.
Do you think
we're still banned?
Yeah, I'm sure. You're still banned. Was the timing to dump Carter before the conference poor, or did they have no choice?
They had no choice.
Yeah, they
Absolutely
had no choice.
Yep. He's a traitor to the party and the caucus, is the way they see it.
Yep.
If he's going to do a kiss and tell, then just get on with it, Chris, is what I'm saying.
Oh, exactly. He's probably not going to write anything anyway.
If you say you've got a nuclear bomb, it's of no use whatsoever unless you actually set one off.
All talk, no trouser.
No trouser.
And when it was announced that he was going to actually address the New Zealand Council meeting himself, I knew it was over. Right. There's no way someone so oafish, so clumsy, so selfish and conceited is going to present and then get away with it.
And entitled.
There's no way.
Who wins, who loses by throwing Chris Carter out of the Labour Party? Cam?
Well, Chris Carter doesn't lose because he's got nothing to lose. He's already lost everything.
Yeah, that's right.
In which case he's dangerous. Phil Goff, he can't win, although this is a small win in terms of...
It's a vindication at least.
It's a vindication at least.
At least.
But ultimately Phil Goff, we all know, is doomed as the leader of the party. And it's just a matter of time before David Cunliffe fires up his barbecue.
Who wins, who loses by throwing Chris Carter out of the Labour Party?
Well, I think Phil Goff does win a little bit. As I said, he is vindicated by his actions and what he did, but the Labour Party is stronger for having Chris Carter out.
He's won a game, but he hasn't won the match.
Thank you very much, panel. Let's move on to the last word. Tim, your last word this week is...
Well, I was going to talk about how John Key is going to dish out 160,000 medals for having at some point looked at a military base. Apparently, no.
I'll qualify for one of those.
Apparently, there's this New Zealand Defence Force Service Medal, and he's going to ask the Queen to approve it. Yes. And apparently, everyone who has basically stuck it out in the military and able to hold down a job for longer than 3 years is eligible. Everyone, and this surprised me, who ever went to CMT, compulsory military training or national service, is eligible for this.
Well, Will Scout one?
Or volunteer.
3 years, wasn't it?
It's 5 years?
It's just outrageous, mate.
Or volunteered for the Territorials.
What I'm saying is it would have been cheaper to spend $3.85 million contracting sanitarium to put it in boxes of Weet-Bix. You know what I mean?
Cam, your final word.
My final word is for Len Brown to get on with the job of being the mayor. He's got a mandate. He's got a left-leaning council. I see no reason, though, why we can't start the debate now about Maori representation. And he promised it.
The lack of Maori representation.
Yeah, the lack of.
That's
we need
right.
more.
So
we need more.
And ironically, it's the two right-wing guys who actually have Maori whakapapa.
Yes, isn't that funny? Don't you think that's hilarious?
Hilarious.
Jamie Lee Ross is someone to watch on the local...
He's a mate of yours, isn't he?
He is a mate of mine. Proud to have him as a mate.
That's terrible.
And see, everyone can have a Maori mate. But the thing is I really want Len to move forward on that. He owes it to the people of South Auckland that he campaigned on additional Maori representation. And it's an easy one to deliver on.